NewsX work is...
Hello and welcome, I'm Joshua Barnes and you're watching NewsX World. Israel is under attack tonight as multiple missiles have been launched from Iran toward Israeli cities. The Israeli military confirms the missile barrage and says interceptions are underway. Sirens are wailing out across the country, including in Tel Aviv, where explosions and smoke trails have already been reported. The Home Front Command has ordered residents to remain near shelters and avoid large gatherings as tensions in the region reach a new high. This comes after the Israeli military has confirmed it struck another nuclear facility in Iran's Isfahan amid escalating hostilities. Meanwhile, military spokesperson Avichai Adrei announced the strike on social media, warning civilians to evacuate areas near weapons facilities. Well, this retaliation from Iran is not the first, of course. Friday's large-scale attacks from Israel were met with waves of strikes that targeted Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Then overnight there were further escalations and they are continuing today. This situation is continuing to escalate. The regional ramifications are there, but it also has wider geopolitical ramifications. I bring you some information that I have just received saying that Israeli media has reported that the Israeli government has extended a state of emergency until June the 30th. We've heard from Benjamin Netanyahu that Israel's operation, known as Operation Rising Sun, has been potentially set to last for 2 weeks. This confirmation, if we can confirm it from Israeli military so far, but confirmation from the Israeli government that a state of emergency has been extended until June the 30th, this will signal that potential hostilities between the two rivals is going to continue for the coming period. I have some more updates as well. The Israeli military are reporting that it is now permitted to leave protected spaces in all areas across the country. We wait for confirmation on that. Just to bring you in on an update of the picture that we have currently, we understand missiles have been launched at Israel from Iran. Explosions have been heard in Tel Aviv. Iran's state media says that ballistic missiles were launched at Israel, and we had confirmation as well from the Israeli military on the same. Let me just read you this IDF statement. A short while ago, the IDF identified missiles launched from Iran towards the territory of the state of Israel. Defensive systems are operating to intercept the threat. Upon receiving an alert, the public is instructed to enter a protected space and remain there until further notice. Of course, this situation is continuing to be updated, continuing to evolve. Information is coming through, and I will bring all of that to you once we have it. The geopolitical ramifications of this, of course, coming before the G7 summit set to take place over the next 3 days. The Israel-Iran conflict is expected to dominate and almost definitely will dominate discussions, given involvement and comment from several of the nations of the Group of Seven and also those attending as well. I just wait for confirmation that it is now permitted for residents to leave their protected spaces. What we saw in earlier attacks, the one after the big wave of strikes by Israel on nuclear and military targets, we saw waves of strikes. They came in 3. It was not just the first lot of ballistic missiles. That totaled 150 ballistic missiles, potentially rising to over 175. So this is something that is potentially going to develop. Of course, Israel has worked as hard as they can to destroy these military facilities that include areas in which ballistic missiles can be launched. Hundreds of planes used, countless carried out. These attacks come in the wake of the biggest escalation of violence between Israel and Iran in history. There were, of course, last year strikes that came from Israel amidst the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. That was an attack, but this has been sustained, and there have been now 3 separate days of Iranian strikes on Israel. The situation, of course, is a concerning one for those living in both Iran and Israel. Deaths reported from both nations, at least 13 killed in Israel in recent days. We will bring you all the updates on this latest strike and if there are any further casualties, fatalities and damage to civilian infrastructure. On the other side, we heard a short while ago that the death toll in Iran had been updated. Initially, after the first day of strikes, that figure stood at 78. We've had an update on that. Iranian media reporting that 128 people have been killed from attacks on both Friday and Saturday. Joining us now to discuss the latest developments that have come through is Daniel Carman, the former Israeli ambassador to India, who is joining us from Tel Aviv, where explosions have been reported. Daniel, thank you for joining us at what must be an extremely difficult time for you. We hope that you're okay. Can you just talk us through the past hour or so, what you have seen, what you have heard, and what your experience has been?
Thank you for having me, and I think I appreciate very much your letting your viewers see one crucial angle of what is going on in those dramatic days. In the last hour or so, I've been with my family in the safe room. There is a updated protocol on how to get ready, how to be on alert, and we were on alert, following signals that we got from the home front command, saying that there are a few dozens of missiles and surface-to-surface rockets on their way from Iran to Israel. We are still sitting in the safe room, and I must tell you that nothing happened as much as I know this time. This does not mean that what happened in the last 24 hours, one of the most complicated days of this crisis until now.
Yes, absolutely. So Daniel, can I just confirm that you didn't hear any explosions? Did you see anything? Obviously the sirens sounded and the warnings came out, but could you just provide us a picture of your experience when those sirens sounded?
This is a very subjective experience, part of which was out of the safe room and part of it was in the safe room. We did hear booms, but we never know if the booms are landfalls of missiles or the interceptors who are launched and intercept the missiles. We already have some, with our experience, and it's not a new experience, we've had it for many years now, but more intensified in the last few days. I think what we heard were 4 or 5 launches of interceptors, which, as you know, have a 96% success, but unfortunately the success is not, it's not sealed, it's not foolproof, and we've seen it unfortunately in the last evening and early morning when a whole family was hit in the town of Tamra in the northern Israel, an Arab town called Tamra, and it's a big tragedy there. You know that 20% of the citizens of Israel are Arabs, Christians or Muslims, and unfortunately they got a hit in the town of Tamra. And here in Tel Aviv, near Tel Aviv, in a suburb of Tel Aviv, in two suburbs of Tel Aviv, two direct hits hit a big building with 7 people killed. In Tamra, we have four fatalities, and in an academic institute near Tel Aviv, a building also was laboratories got hit. Big damages and fatalities.
Yes, Daniel. What are your emotions like in these moments? You said this is something that you've got used to, but of course, given the civilian death, given the extremity of this situation and the potential for further escalation, it must still be difficult to go through. What were your emotions and how did you feel when the sirens were heard, the explosions were heard, and it was clear what was happening in that moment? Another retaliatory attack from Iran.
Well, maybe I made a mistake saying that we're used to. You can never get used to the fact that you do such an unnatural thing of getting into a room, closing the door, it's hermetic, being ready for something that you have no idea what will happen. The only thing that you know that you're in a safe room that has a probability of not getting hit because of the architecture. Every building, every apartment in the building code of Israel now obliges the builders to build a room which is a safe room. That's unfortunately our experience in this region in the last maybe 35 or 40 years. You can never get used to it. But I must say, when you look at the larger picture, the preemptive strike that Israel took a few days ago was, I would say, on the brink of getting to the 12th hour of danger, real danger, much bigger danger than we have now from the Iranian side. You know, the Iranians have this big time program of destroying the Zionist entity, as they call it, or the state of Israel, which they will never succeed, of course, because of our reaction. But I want to say it's not only an Israeli-Iranian issue, it's a regional issue, and you know of many countries in the area, in our area, Arab countries, moderate Arab countries, who are very much concerned of the danger from Iran, from the actual Iranian regime. But I think it's also a global danger, if you know and if you understand, if you follow the vision of the Iranian regime. I think that many people within Iran are pretty happy or satisfied to see what is going on in Tehran as we now speak, which is really a show of force, of technology, of innovation, if I may, a battle that will be learned in the histories of war for many, many years. But it was an essential act from the side of the state of Israel. Otherwise, who knows where we would get when and if Iran would have developed a nuclear capability.
Yes, Daniel, if you can just stay with us for a moment. I've had an update from comments made by the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian. I just want to bring those to you. He urged regional countries to adopt a clear, decisive and effective stance against the aggression by Israel. He made these remarks at a cabinet meeting. He said that Iran's military has so far responded strongly and appropriately to attacks on his nation. We have further updates where he said that Israel pursues every crime in the region without any restrictions and with the green lights of America. This is what the official IRNA news agency has quoted him saying. That is our source for this. It ends by saying that the president has stressed that Israel cannot take any action without the permission of the United States. What we are witnessing today is being done with the direct support of Washington. Daniel, I will bring you back in just for a response to that. A couple of key points I want to pick up on. A clear, decisive and effective stance against aggression, and then the comments that have been made saying that what we're witnessing is being done with the direct support of Washington. Iran choosing to bring Washington into this, include Washington in this. Do you think that comments like the one that we've just heard, reported by the IRNA news agency, could bring the US into this conflict in a military capacity?
Well, that's a big question. I'm not sure I would make these equation words coming from Iran, who probably have internal reasons, moral reasons from within Iran, and not necessarily a message abroad. The US is very much not involved in the attack, as Secretary Rubio has stressed in the last few days, but the US is definitely there. The US is not only knowledgeable of what has happened, but active, I'm sure, I know, active in the interception of some people say up to 40% of the interceptions. And we remember in previous crises how a coalition of countries helped us intercept hundreds of missiles. We're not talking about drones that take 9 hours to get to Israel. I'm talking about ballistic missiles. It's a matter of minutes sometimes. And I don't think that one statement or another would bring or not bring the US into being more active. One thing is sure, if American bases or forces are attacked, then they will respond immediately. If you look at the aim, the Israeli aim, which is really to reduce or to eliminate rather, all nuclear capabilities, how would others be partners in this, including, or first and foremost, the US is another story. I certainly hope that they will, if needed. But I do want to quote, since you quoted a quotation, I will also quote, and maybe it's interesting for the people in India who are following the issue. 2 hours ago, I saw a statement by the Senate of Pakistan, who unanimously passed a resolution in full support of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So maybe here is one first reaction to the declaration of the Iranian president or whoever did this declaration. Pakistan is responding. So how about that?
Yes, and you say Pakistan, Daniel. If you could stay with us, we have had a response from Donald Trump on Truth Social. Trump has posted saying that Iran and Israel should make a deal and will make it happen. He said, just like I got India and Pakistan to make one. We will have peace soon between Israel and Iran. Many calls and meetings now taking place. I do a lot and never get credit for anything, but that's okay. The people understand. Then Trump finishes that post by saying, make the Middle East great again. Daniel, this seems to be putting Trump on a position of peacemaker, alluding to a peace deal that was done between India and Pakistan. There are, of course, discrepancies as to whether Trump was the person who got that deal done or not. But I just want your initial reaction to that before we let you go. Do you think Trump is in a position?
I feel really ridiculous in saying that Israel appreciates the role of the United States. Of course, it's our best ally, our best friend. They've been supporting us, including in this terrible crisis that we are all facing. I don't want to comment. Who am I to comment on what President Trump has said about his role on India and Pakistan? I know that the Indian side has some comments on that, but that's not for me to comment. I'm sure that the Americans would love to have a role in the peacemaking, in the all the diplomatic efforts, maybe bringing the Iranians back to the table in order to get a real pact, a real deal, which will not let the Iranians enrich uranium in their territory. That's the issue. This is the issue that blocked the fifth round of negotiations between the US and the Iranians. Of course, a diplomatic result is the one that we would all want to get to. But when the Iranians are developing capabilities and fooling the world again and again and again, as they've been doing in the last few decades, Israel had to act. And I think we are acting big time with a big message to the Iranian regime and to the Iranian people.
Yes, Daniel. Of course, we wait to see if there is a response from Iran on this comment from Donald Trump. Of course, any peace would need to be agreed by both nations, given the gravity of the situation at play, given the extremity and the number of strikes that have taken place, ballistic missiles, intelligence operations, the number of nuclear and military targets struck in Iran. I am just waiting for confirmation, but I believe that these visuals we are showing you are live visuals of Israeli emergency services in Bat Yam, where a missile has struck. Of course, Bat Yam, the site where deaths were reported after overnight strikes as well. These live visuals appearing to show emergency services. I will just wait. Yep, we have that there. These live visuals coming through. Limited availability of what is being seen, but we understand that this is where a missile has struck. We will wait for confirmation from the local officials there as to whether there have been any casualties reported or potential devastating fatalities in a conflict that has already led to many. Daniel, I will come back to you just very briefly.
I would like to comment on that.
Yes, please.
Bat Yam is the terrible event that happened during last night. It's not a new event that happened now. That's the building that almost all collapsed with a few hundred people. 3 were missing until an hour ago. That's the event of last night. It's not something new.
Daniel, thank you so much for providing that clarity. We really appreciate the time that you have taken to join us in this extremely difficult moment. We wish you all the best and hope that you remain safe in case there is any further strike. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. We hope there isn't further update to bring you, but if there is, we will of course talk about the ongoing strikes in Israel and Iran. Until then, thank you.